Hello, I'm Coach Heidi with Growth and Gains, and I have Emily Pay with me. She has been a client with us and has made significant progress and improvements in so many aspects of her life, which, we are not just focused on the physical. We are educating and building habits in all aspects of our health, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, so that we can create a life we love and a body that we're proud of. And Emily is a shining example of what our program can do. And so I wanted to have her on and interview her to share with anyone else out there who may be in the place that she was in before she started, and to hear her experience and her growth and her gains throughout the program. So Emily, tell us a little bit about yourself before we kind of dive in. Just tell us about who Emily Pay is. Who are you?
Emily Pay is, I am a mom, a wife. I work in the schools a whole lot with kids, like substitute teaching. I'm a drama teacher. I'm a writer. I'm an extremely active human being. I like to do a lot. Large projects are totally my thing, and doing big things out in the community. I'm a really big fan of that. So all of those things kind of, roll together to make me. Kind of, yes, I am.
Yes, and you love. It sounds like you love serving people.
I do, very much. I'm a huge people person. I love people. There's nothing about me that's introverted. I'm 100% extrovert, and I really get a high from interacting with other people, and it's enjoyable. And I'm a morning person, which is, I love being a morning person. I drive most people crazy when I'm up at 5 or 5:30. And so if I go on trips with my girlfriends and stuff, I tell them to leave their ironing out the night before, and I'll iron it for them in the morning because nobody else is going to get up for hours. But it's fun. I like being up.
I know. And you did my morning boot camp every morning when I lived in California. So I can very much attest that she is a morning person. She was singing all the songs and encouraging everybody, probably better than I was.
So, not quite that good.
I love having her there in the morning.
It was fun. It was very fun.
Yeah. So, and then when I moved to Texas, right, and we kind of lost touch, quarantine happened, COVID hit. And then I remember we were chatting on social media, and you were in a different kind of a state, huh? So
yes, I was.
Where you were, what got you there?
So after I'd been working with you in your boot camps, like in your garage and stuff, like that was so good for my soul. And then I went back to work in the schools, and I had a full-time job teaching music to kids. And after that, I just did a whole lot of work in the schools, a lot of subbing and stuff that I was doing in there. And it took up a lot of my time and a lot of my emotional energy, and just strength and endurance just went downhill. I stopped working out. I would pack these lunches that I would say are super healthy, but then I was eating a lot of calories, with just mindlessly shoving things into my mouth. And I'd stopped exercising, and I had gotten to a point where I'd injured an ankle. I thought that it was injured anyway. And I was just in a bad space. I could barely walk from my bed to my bathroom in the mornings. I'm holding on to stuff, trying to get where I need to go. And I was very frustrated. I'd put a lot of weight. Being the emotional person that I am, I did do a lot of emotional eating to make myself feel better. Or if I'm happy, I'm going to eat a whole bunch. If I'm go, let's eat some more and more and more. And it, generally speaking, was not good. I should say not nutritious food. Excuse me. A lot of, processed items or high sugar, nutrient deficient foods that I was eating to sort of cope with all of the things that I was trying to handle, all of the stressors in life with work and raising teenagers, and then this physical problem that I ended up having. So I was in a pretty bad spot, things weren't looking super bright for the future. They were looking very, am I going to spend the rest of my life just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and unable to move and in a lot of pain. And that's when, yeah, we started talking through social media. And then I was able to talk with you more about some of the programming and things that you had to offer to help me. And I remember saying, are you sure that you can help me with X, Y, and Z? And you were like, yes, I know I can. And I was like, okay, in my head, right? And fast forward, 6 months, however long ago, that maybe longer than that, later, that I have a ton of help. I've gotten so many answers, and it's really been awesome to have the coaching of that you offer me, that there's someone I can talk to. There are programs for me to follow. There are things that I can do every day that help me get a little better every day. And it helps get me in the right mindset to put one foot in front of the other, go find out the answers to the things I need to do, which I've been able to do. I've had a lot of healing over the past, 6 months or so, to the point where walking is not a big issue, and I can do the heavier, larger projects that I like to do because my body is allowing me to do that. So it's been awesome.
Okay, yes, I love everything that you just said, because I think, when you were training out of my garage, right? It was all like the physical stuff. We were
Mhm.
working out and I was helping you guys with nutrition, very basic nutrition guidance, but it was mostly about exercise and helping you guys build a good foundation for exercise. And then when we moved to Texas and COVID hit, and I totally changed what I was coach, or how I coach my clients, and I totally changed my curriculum. And people talk about like the blessings in disguise from COVID, and I think this was a huge one. And I always felt like there was something missing from the way I coach my clients, because I was never quite getting my clients the results that I wanted to as a coach. And so having that downtime, I was able to really reflect and really create a system for my clients, and deliver it, bring it to them in a way that could keep them consistent on all those different aspects of their health. And so that's why I was so excited, right? When we touched base again, and you're like, hey, I'm struggling with XYZ. And I was like, I know I can help you. And I loved having the confidence to say that, as a coach, because I think that we as women, our problem of wanting to lose weight or wanting to look good is so superficial, right? And there's usually like, it's the tip of the iceberg, and there's this huge thing underneath there
Mhm.
that is hurting us and keeping us from growing and changing and living the life that we want to live. And so now being able to address all of that in my program, and then having you here as a testament that, like, hey, this works. So
Yeah.
tell me, like, now a little bit of like, what were those pain points that you were struggling with when you came to me at that time?
So there were several things that I was struggling with at the time. Some of them are, perpetual. And I keep struggling with them, but some of them were very much like you just need to get past that hump. One, of course, is weight. My clothing was just getting tighter and tighter, and I'm not really one to care that much about like my body size or anything like that, but it was starting to get to me and wear on me mentally. I do deal with depression, and that's something that is ongoing in my life. And it ebbs, it flows a little bit. And I know I was in a bad place mentally at that time. I also, had that injury with my ankle that it turns out it's arthritis. It's chronic arthritis. It's not going to go away, but I needed the tools to help me get to a place where I could still function. And I was able to do, all of those things with one of the biggest things I think has changed with your program that I've really loved and has been a huge help to me has really been that mental side of it. I feel like the focus is not so much what your body looks like as much as it is what your body can do and how happy you are in it. And are you able to do the things that bring you joy, which is wonderful, because in our society, we're very much like, here's your box. And if you don't fit inside of it, then you're going to be miserable, because we're constantly comparing ourselves to this Barbie doll, which is silly because nobody could be that perfect thing. So it's wonderful to have that mind shift where I'm not focused on what my body looks like, but what it is capable of doing. So I was able to push past it. I was able to reach out to other specialists like arthritic specialists and podiatrists and things like that, that can, not arthritic specialists, but rheumatologists that can help with the issues that I was dealing with my ankle. And honestly, you pushed me to do that. Whereas I was, in that mindset where I thought, this isn't going to get better. I'm stuck with this forever. I don't know what's going on. You were very much proponent of finding the right doctors, make sure you get where you need to go, try everything. As I went to different doctors, I would bring what they said to me as well. And I would bring that to you. And I would say, have you heard of this before? And you had heard of the various treatments before, which was super helpful because I could get your opinion. And then I actually ended up getting multiple opinions from multiple doctors before I found what really was working. And I'm super grateful that I did, and that you really pushed me to do that, it's called a second opinion in the medical world and not a second fact, because there are different ways to take care of different things. And I was just grateful that you really had the mindset of, you keep going until you figure it out, because that was very helpful to me to get going. In terms of like the depression and things that I struggle with, there is very frustrating, because being an outgoing person, a morning person, whatever, I do not enjoy being down. It does not bring me joy. Sorry. It does not bring me joy to be down and to feel down emotionally. And, the way that your program works, I kind of have constant accountability with people. And I know, like you've said multiple times, if you're struggling, reach out. So I know that I'm in this community of people who supports health and wellness for your mental health as well as your physical health. And like you said, your spiritual health, your emotional health, all of those things are important. So I'm learning to take care of the whole person, as, in a balanced way. And it's been helpful to me because I was doing awesome sauce. I was doing so great. I was on with my meal, my eating, and my exercise. And I had everything the way that I was supposed to be doing it. And then Christmas came, and we had guests, a lot of guests. We had 13 people in our home at one time, and I'm feeding everybody and running around doing all of these things. And I loved it. It was wonderful, but it's also mentally draining. So I really kind of took a nosedive after Christmas in terms of mental happiness, joy, whatever. But what's been nice is that your program you have been super consistent throughout all of that. So every day I was already in the routine of waking up and looking at what I needed to do for the day and hopping right in and doing it. So I continued that even in that slump and even during that time that was more difficult. And it doesn't make things go away automatically, but it absolutely put me in a better place than I would have been otherwise. It helped me stay stable and not like balloon with weight, or not spiral mentally. I was down, and that's okay, but I was able to make it through all of that to where I'm at a point now where I'm actually waking up, okay, I want to exercise, I want to eat my whole foods again. All of those good things are coming back, but I've had that other foundation where my mental health is important, and it's helped me get back into it without being at a bigger, worse place. So it's been really helpful to be able to have that support and that accountability, really.
That is beautiful. And I love that. And I'm so glad to, again, just hear that testament and see that what we're doing, what we've implemented is working. Because I think that so often we let these life events just create a downward spiral. And I think that sometimes we think, when I hit this certain weight, my life will be perfect. Or when I finish this program, my life will be perfect. When I do this, then perfection, right? And ease of life. And the reality is, we will always have problems. We will always have struggles, right?
Yeah.
But is what we're, are the habits that we're implementing, and do we have a consistent network of people that will help us get through those obstacles? I still have obstacles in my health, in my
Mhm.
lifestyle. They're different than right where they were,
Yes.
what they were like back when I started my health journey. And
Mhm.
so I like to think of like my problems now as like good problems.
Yeah.
These are the problems of growth.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Um, and so I love like just your perspective there, and seeing how you were able to reach out to us to use the resources that we were able to provide, and help get you through that time to where it wasn't damaging, right? You
Yes. Yeah.
picked up and you put together maybe a few puzzle pieces and you
Yeah.
kept in your life.
Mhm.
And I think too, like, just that concept of just being okay with feeling, and like being okay not being perfect. I think that there is a lot of pressure put on us, and there's a lot of especially once we join a program, right, or when
Mhm.
we hire
Yeah.
a coach or we hire a trainer, we think that we should look this certain way, or we should have like just be perfect again all the time, right? We have this idea of
Right.
like what our perfection is, and knowing that like it where I'm at is okay.
Mhm.
And that's another thing I really try to foster in our community, is that like, yeah, you're on this trajectory of growth and progress and you're going to achieve these goals, but along the way it's okay to have slip ups, and it's okay to just be depressed one day, and it's okay to have anxiety, and it's okay to like feel these things, because there's so much to be learned in that
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
um
been one of the biggest things, even when you said you wanted to do an interview with me, at first I was like, I am not good enough for an interview. I haven't lost 60 pounds or 70 pounds. I have not done this program perfectly, but you said, oh my gosh, you are such a success story. You couldn't walk. And I couldn't walk a few months ago. And now I'm out in my garden. I'm building huge garden beds, which requires a ton of dirt, which requires a lot of digging and hauling and taking that from point A to point B. And it's a lot of work. And before I started working with you, it was over. I was not going to be able to do that stuff ever again. And it's all stuff that I enjoy, and it's all stuff that I love. And it's just been wonderful to know that it's not an if then scenario. Like when we were kids growing up, this is what we teach our children. If you do this, then you get this. If you do this, then you get that. Starts with math classes. If you have X and Y, you will always get Z. That's not, you're right. That's not how life works. Life is not X plus Y equals Z. Life is this big mess through um, the alphabet, and you end up somewhere like Q, and you don't know why you're at Q, but it's kind of nice at Q sometimes. So it's really been awesome to, even though when I wasn't ready to, I'm not feeling it right now, and that was okay. Like I never felt like someone was mad at me for not doing everything super perfectly. I've never felt like anybody was like, well, you better get up. You could do this. You could do it. It was never like that. There's support and lots of, you can totally do this, but it's positive. It's not like Army drill sergeant, after you, like, you better get down and give me 40 or something like that. So it's been very nice and supportive. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
So glad, so glad. So you touched on a lot of the things, like again, just you've been able to create that life that you love, doing those things that bring you joy in a
Mhm.
body that you're proud of. And that just like makes my soul erupt with joy. Because that's what I love. That's like what brings me joy, is helping other women to create that life that they love, right?
Yeah.
So what do you envision your future now? Like, you've made awesome progress. Well, and maybe you haven't lost 50 pounds, but you still made incredible physical
I
progress.
have.
So
I have.
what are your gains? Tell us your
So
gains.
I have lost at this point about 16 pounds, which is pretty good. Um,
Amazing.
and I am, yes, 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 it's good. It's very good. I am more flexible than I was. I have more drive to do things than I was doing before. And I'm learning better how to balance everything. And it's been really nice, and how to prioritize myself and my health. One of my favorite things that you talk about is recovery. And so now when I go take a nice hot bubble bath at the end of a long day of working hard outside, there's zero guilt there. I'm recovering. And so it's wonderful. Like things like that that just really help me to say, you know what, Emily needs to take care of Emily before she can take care of anybody else. And it's been, and I don't do it to take care of other people, but caring for others is a huge benefit to caring for myself. I need to care for myself, and everything else is a total benefit and blessing on top of that. So I'm super, super grateful.
Yes. So what are some of the goals that you have now for your future?
Oh, I'm going to start hiking again. And that's going to be great because I haven't hiked in a long time. And the last hike I did was brutal, but it was years ago. And I love it. And it's grueling and it takes me a very long time because I'm slow, but I don't care. I have a great time. So I'm excited to get back into that. I'm excited to do more of my heavier lifting in the yard with my kids and stuff. I really enjoy that kind of thing. I've started yoga with my daughter, which is totes my fave. And we just have a great time being together and having that, healthier outlook for them and with them. And I do have goals that I will lose more weight. I feel like I'm getting back into a place mentally where I'm excited to eat healthy, and I am excited. I had oatmeal for breakfast and broccoli and chicken for lunch, and it was so good. And I'm really excited to get back into those things and to set that example for my children. Like my oldest, she's really one, like if she sees me eating something I shouldn't be, she'll be like, hey mom, is that really healthy for you? And it's not, that's going to make you fat, because that's a bad word in our house. But we talk about health and the things that are good for our bodies. And she's aware of that. And she gets that, 8 cookies are not healthy for you. And so, she's learning as well, and actually does a better job of caring for herself than she did beforehand. Let's maybe not make that today. Let's have some, ooh, gosh, you making broccoli? That looks really good. Oh, green beans. Oh my gosh, I love green beans. These are my kids that are saying these things. So I'm really excited.
Be my coach.
I know. Oh, you're gonna love this green bean, Heidi. It's so good. So it's fun. I see myself gardening. And when I say gardening, I mean huge gardening, like making most of our food and that kind of thing. I really enjoy. And it's lovely to be outside. It feels great. It feels wonderful. And it's growing foods that I know are a benefit to my family. So all of these things, I just see a happier, brighter future where I'm active and can do things and go on trips without being tired, and play with grandkids someday and get on the floor with them. Getting on the floor was like a big fat no-no, like, because I wouldn't be able to get up. So I can now. I can get down and I can get up. And so I can play with little babies and, get up still from the floor to go take care of them or whatever. So I'm grateful for that.
Yay, awesome. I love hearing about all that. Thank you so much for sharing. So, if you could give someone who was in your same shoes, before you started the program, they're afraid, they don't know if this is going to work for them. They hear me say I can help them, but they're maybe kind of skeptical.
Uh-huh.
What advice do you have for them?
In life, I think that we are afraid of things that we do not know. And what's nice about what you have to offer is you can start out with like the 21-day program and see, gosh, does this work for me? And then you can watch how it works for you. And then you can keep going. And if I were to talk to myself back then, I would say, don't hesitate. You must take this road. I'm worth it. You are worth it. Your health is worth it. Your body is worth it. We are here on this earth to love and serve each other. And we cannot do that if we're not caring for ourselves. And I believe that your program is one that really helps us reach our full potential, what we were meant to be and what we were meant to do while we're living on this earth. And it helps me overcome those silly things that the world is wrong, the world is stupid. All those models that they put on TV are all airbrushed and they haven't eaten in 3 days. All that we see that's out there that's very fake, just not real. That's not what I want, and that's not what you should want for yourself. This is something that's going to help you reframe your whole mind, your whole life, take care of you as a whole person so you can move through life as you want to do and as you were meant to do.
Amen. Thank you so, so much, Emily. Thank you for coming on here, being vulnerable, taking that chance on yourself, knowing that you are worth it, that you are worth that investment, that you are worth taking care of, that you're worth prioritizing yourself. And, just seeing the impact that has on your family and the people around you. And, I think just today you posted in our Facebook group about how you were able to help. Was that your grandparents
Yeah.
who were stranded on the side of the road and help
Yeah.
guide them? And you're like, I couldn't walk 2 months ago. So I just think it's incredible. And I've had so many experiences like that as well, where I'm so thankful for my health, that I made myself a priority, that I said no to certain things, that I put myself first to get myself in a better state so that I can show up as my best self and live a life that I love and a body I'm proud of. And so thank you for, again, your trust in me and the program and all of our coaches. And let's keep growing.
Absolutely. And thank you for being you and for just having this available. I think it is life changing. And I think it's going to make a huge difference for many, many, many people.
Thank you. Woo, peace.
Peace, love, gains.
Check out those guns.